Live Laugh Stuck is a self-indulgent podcast featuring a heart player encouraging you to be self-indulgent too. Welcome home. Hey, welcome back to Live Laugh Stuck, previously Jacksta's Homestuck, and hey, it's been a couple weeks, because I was like, I'll take Christmas off, that's reasonable, and then I was like, fuck it, I'll take New Year's off too, and then my brain was like, what if I just take time off until after my birthday, which is January 13th, because that's a holiday for me personally, it's my personal holiday, and it still counts in the realm of the holidays. That works? No. So I'm posting this now. I'm doing this now. And I'm doing it old school style, where I just kind of talk about stuff instead of, I've been trying to have a script lately. And instead of that, I'm talking now because I have something else I need to write. So anytime I'm like, I need to write a script for this next episode, I instead go, well, I need to finish this writing thing first, and I don't feel like doing that right now, so I'm not going to do that, and then I just don't write a script. So here goes. This is the episode where we talk about Sollux, and I almost said Aradia. That's wrong. Sollux and Nepeta and Sollux. So yes, Nepeta and Sollux's routes came out before Christmas. So it's been a bit, but this is still before the next two routes are out. So it still counts. It's still fine. It's okay. So Nepeta first. I love feral Nepeta. I'm glad Nepeta was feral in this one. I feel we as a fandom have been kind of back and forth as to how feral we let Nepeta be. Sometimes we just like see that she's nice and sweet and she likes shipping and she's just like this little ball of sunshine and joy, and we're like, well, yeah, that's all she is. And like, no, she like hunts and kills things all the time. She's feral. She lives in a cave. She's feral. I love her. But we got feral Nepeta rights, and I really enjoyed this route. I liked that there was a couple of different things going on with it, like more choices than usual. I love it. I love the standard routes where it is what you expect, where you have the first good choice or the first bad choice, and then you have a second bad choice, or you continue the route, and then that's it. That's fine. I love those. It just makes the ones where they shift things up all that much more interesting, you know? So, and it wasn't a huge shift for this one, but it was still good. So, in the first one, so the first bad choice you can make, where you like basically say, hey, Nepeta, be fucking normal, how about? Really bad. You get the saddest Nepeta face, and I was dying. I'm like, I can't handle this. A lot of people have compared it to that meme of that kitten with the really watery eyes, and it's like, yeah, that's what it is. Like, that's the sad Nepeta face. You fucked up. Go shove a foot up your ass. Like, you were bad. So that was... Bad routes are, like, almost always hard to do, but some are harder than others. That one was hard. It's like, no, don't make fun of Nepeta. Come on. Roleplay. Roleplay with Nepeta. And then the second choice is really weird, because you don't actually have a bad end for either of them. You have, I think that it's called a good end and a group end. I don't know if the good end is called something else. But, like, neither of them are bad inherently, except in the group end, you can make a choice that ends up bad. But yeah, so the good end is we finally get that Nepeta and Equius content that we wanted since Equius' route, and he was really sad that you couldn't teleport to Nepeta because it was too soon in the storyline. And I really wish that had happened longer. I feel like more of that route more of that ending was Equius getting on to you for appearing out of nowhere and being rude. Not that he didn't appreciate Nepeta to be there, but just like this idea of like kind of hung up on his idea of rudeness rather than appreciating Nepeta being there. So I wish there had been more actual like Nepeta and Equius content than, yeah, you do show up without saying anything, you fucker. And in the group end, we go to fucking Jade and Dave, which I love. Jade and Dave are hanging out. That's great. Of course, I just love Dave. I don't think anyone had this problem, but I could understand if it's like, oh, well, like we went to Dave and John hanging out when we brought Carcat. So shouldn't we go to Rose and Jade hanging out since, you know, that would be really cool. But I mean, it's also like a nod to like Dave Petta. So it's fine. It's fine. It's just, you know, I would understand if there were people feeling like we're oversaturated with Dave, but it's Dave. It's Dave. I'm not one of those people who have complaints at all because it's Dave. And I love voicing Dave, and I take over Dave anytime I can. Because he just has these fucking hilarious lines that I absolutely love reading. And yeah, the writing for this sprout was really, really good. And so we have Dave and Jade and Nepeta, and Nepeta freaks out because you just fucking teleported her to nowhere, and you try to teleport back, and your powers have grown stronger, I guess, because you accidentally take Dave and Jade along with you. And it's fucking crazy because I'm like, is your stuff getting stronger? Is it because your narrative presence, like you're taking over more of what you want to do rather than what T-Pose Man wants you to do, or whoever? Is it because you're getting further into the story, closer to what Doc Scratch or T-Pose Man or whoever wants? And so they're giving you more liberties? Or is it because you accessed your memories and whenever Aradia kind of unlocked all that for you, it opened up more things? I don't know. But it's really neat to think about. So I'm looking forward to future mishaps that can happen because of your exponentially increasing power. And then you can either, so this sucked, because you can choose to make it to them in time or not to Jade, because Jade's being attacked by Nepeta's Lussus. And like, obviously not getting there in time is the bad end, but you have to see how it ends because bad ends are necessary in Pastor Quest routes, and it hurts. It hurts because you just Jade fucking pulls a rifle out of nowhere. Well, you know, and kills Nepeta's Lussus, and then they run off into the woods, and you can't find them because they shouldn't be here. They have no connection to this place, and so your powers. It's really interesting. Look into how the powers work. Is that no, there has to be some sort of sane connection for you to be able to go there. You can't just go there. You can't find them because they shouldn't be here. So that's super, super neat. Very sad, but super neat. And then in the good end, everything is great. And Nepeta calls Dave by his furry name, which is fantastic. And I've forgotten it, and I can't pronounce it anyway. And Jade's there and like healing you up. And like Jade and Dave both say things that you're like, your lives are horrible, and not stuff like a kid should have gone through by age 13. But whatever, thank you for saving my life with the skills you unfortunately learned at your age. So that's always just like, I love it, because I feel like early Homestuck was just so silly that you didn't take into account when weird things happen. Because, like, it's goofy, it's a cartoon, it's an anime, whatever. So you don't, like, say, like, no, these are, like, real things that, well, not real things happening to real kids, but, like, they are theoretically from our real world, and these are weird, bad things happening. And stuff like, reader acknowledging, like, you should not know how to sew up dead bodies, and you should not know how to stuff intestines back into a person. Just being able to play the straight man there and take us out of the fantasy world and remind us, like, no, this would be super weird for kids to do, I think is really good. And not to get off on a minor tangent, because I might have mentioned in other things, I might mention it later on, but I think that's one of the things about Dave and Bro's relationship and why no one recognized Bro's abuse at the beginning when you first started reading, if you don't know anything about Homestuck. Because, like, yeah, it's funny. Like, cartoon dude gets kicked down the stairs. We see that happen. Like, in cartoons, anvils get dropped on people, you know? Like, cartoon violence is cartoon violence. It isn't real. And then we jump to Act 6 when Dave's like, yeah, no, like, I was afraid for, like, my life all the time. I had to do fights all the time. Everything sucked. It was bad. It's like, oh no, this wasn't cartoon violence. This is real violence happening to a real 13-year-old, and that's bad. So I think that's really interesting. And yeah, again, I like the reminder here that it's like, no, like, we're conceptualizing these as, like, actual 13-year-olds. So I like that. And I like Nepeta and Dave's relationship, of course. And furry talk, because we're all furries. If you're a Homestuck fan, you're furry. That's non-negotiable. So yeah, that was a really good route. I like that it had two different kind of good endings. That was a lot of fun. And like I said, the writing was great. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really like Nepeta. Again, we're past the point of, like, characters I have always cared a lot about, and we're to the point of characters that you guys are, like, making me care more about, and I appreciate on new levels. So it's really nice to see that with Nepeta. So yeah, and then we have Sollux's route. Sollux is great. I love his character design. I love his facial expressions. Like, someone, I think Crow described it as, like just how good they're able to, like, show him wrinkling his nose when none of the troll sprites have noses. So that was really nice. I love the first bad end when Gamzee shows up. I cannot tell you how much I love Gamzee showing up. I honestly, like, with the way he's shown up in this route, if he randomly showed up in every route's bad end, that would be fucking hilarious. Just because, like, he gets there and he's in this tiny clown car. And I just love how, like, yes, Gamzee looks like this because he's a juggalo. Like, he's a troll juggalo. He says all these troll juggalo things, but he looks like a clown. So, but they just merge the clownness and the juggalo-ness to where it's like, no, he's both. It's fine. He's a clown. And so he has a clown car, which do all Purple Bloods have clown cars then? Does fucking Marvis have a clown car? Does Marvis get into a clown car when he leaves his concerts? Is that what happens? Either way, Gamzee has a clown car, and he gets out of it, and apparently has to, like, unbreak all of his bones in order to get out of the clown car, which I would love to watch. I hope someone has made an animation of it. I haven't personally seen one, but it's this fandom. I'm sure someone has, or someone is in the process of doing it, or someone will do it, because I need to watch Gamzee have to, like, unbreak and reform all his bones to get out of a clown car. And this is why he can't die, because he already had to do so much horrific shit to himself to get into a clown car that it's fine. The car also looks ridiculous. I hate looking at it. It's awful. By awful, I mean it's great. And that is the second notification for my phone to go off, so I'm going to actually remember to mute it now. So now it's muted. Sorry about that, but I don't feel like re-talking what I was saying and editing that out. So anyway, and Sollux does what many of us want to do when we see Gamzee, and just, or really, like, anyone that we just absolutely do not want to deal with at this point in time. So, like, Sollux getting ambushed by, like, one person he doesn't want to deal with, who has, like, been let in on this huge plan to, like, see how he's doing, which he fucking hates, and then suddenly a fucking clown appears to to piss the shit out of him too. Like, he just blasts off, just like fucking Team Rocket into the sky. It's great. It is a power I wish I had. And, speaking of the plan, I do love that this is all like, Karkat and Kanaya are worried about Sollux, so they have to like be like, no, go talk to him. Here, Karkat has a plan laid out based on probably all the rom-coms he's seen, and then like messed with a little to be better. And it's lovely, and it's wonderful, and I really do appreciate Sollux in this moment wanting nothing to do with it at all. And we also get Sollux blasting off again on the train, where if you believe him and if you take it seriously that he thinks something bad is about to happen and you're about to die, and you transport him away, you transfer him to John's house, which I was really excited because there's like one line in Homestuck that makes me think of John Sollux as a ship. Because that's all it takes is one line. But we didn't actually get John. We just had Sollux being like, I don't belong here, and instead of being with the person who can take me back, I'm just gonna blast off into the sky again. So that's great. I appreciate that. But when we don't believe him, but when we like try to assuage what we think is just his anxiety and be like, no, we're fine, it's cool, and nothing does happen, I think that's really neat. I can't remember if this was in Homestuck and I just forgot about it, because that happens, or what. But I like that Sollux could like had to deal with this on a regular basis of seeing people about to die, and like knowing they were about to die. Well, not like seeing it, but like hearing the soon-to-be dead voices in his head. Like, can you fucking imagine? Like, no wonder he got along with Aradia so much, you know? That brings up a lot of sad stuff that I'm not going to get into right now. Wowzers. Anyway, but I think that's really neat, and I think it's neat how your presence in the story, like, messes with that, and it doesn't come to pass. And that's super neat. And yeah, I love Sollux's whole talk about, you don't fucking know me, you know what my friends have said about me, and they only know what I've told them, and like, in this game of telephone, you're not getting the full picture of who I am, so don't fucking act like you know me. And that's great. Like, that's a thing I feel needs to be said, and is wonderful, and I love it. And I love that he's going to see Kanaya. I just love all these trolls interacting that we never really got to see interact, and like these friendships that were there that we just never like saw anything about. So yeah, Sollux and Kanaya, and they were friends since they were kids, and that's super cute. And they hang out, and I just love how oh god, I love Kanaya being like, sorry, something's wrong with my keyboard, can you fix it? And Sollux is like, absolutely. And it's just like the entire computer is sawed in half, and Sollux is like, oh yeah, I can fix this, and like pulls out a whole other computer, and it's just like so fucking straight-faced. And I like how one person, I don't know if this is like how it was supposed to be interpreted, but I saw one interpretation that like Kanaya wants to see Sollux, so in order to see Sollux, she just saws her computer in half to get him over. Which I just thought that she got angry at something on the computer and sawed it in half. But I do like the interpretation. She's like, I really want to see Sollux, and just like whips out her chainsaw. Because that would be fucking great. So there's this scene here that I would have talked about if I hadn't talked to other people, because it was not a blip on my radar until I talked to one of my other friends about this scene. Well, not even about this scene, just like about it. Like I saw something on Twitter, someone talking about one person who I did not follow, talking about Transmask Sollux being canon. And I'm like, I played this route twice. Once, like, by myself, and then once on someone else's playthrough, on Dami's playthrough. Did I miss something? I definitely can miss, like, I miss something sometimes, but, like, I feel like I would have noticed if Sollux was canonized as trans, right? And so I kind of brought this up on my server, and one of my friends was like, oh, that scene with the picture, that was trans. I'm like, what? So apparently, I don't know if this is how it definitely is or how people have interpreted it or what, because the author of this route is anonymous, and last I heard, no one from What Pumpkin has confirmed or denied or said anything about it. But so the scene where Sollux and Kanaya are looking at an old photo of them together, and Sollux is feeling kind of down about the photo, and Kanaya is trying to help him cheer up and strictly not letting you look at the photo. I thought that was just in character for Sollux, who has, up until this point in the route, been very self-devaluing and self-hating and not really liking himself a lot. And so the fact that Kanaya wouldn't want you to see this photo of him when he was younger, and the fact that he is clearly not liking this photo of him when he was younger, like, that's just, yeah, that's mood. Like, yeah, people who don't like themselves, or even people who do like themselves, don't always like to look at photos when they're younger or share that with other people. That's a thing. But apparently that was interpreted by a lot of people, though again, I've only heard it from, like, so for one of my friends it was super obvious, another of my friends had it brought up in one of their servers, and then again, that post from someone I wasn't following on Twitter. Not to say I have, like, my ear to the ground of Homestuck, like the Homestuck community or anything like that, but, like, I just haven't heard people talking about this. But, like, apparently it's pretty clear to people that this was canonizing Sollux as trans. And I'm fine with, like, trans Sollux is great. I know a lot of people had that headcanon for him, where he has to be bi-gender and bisexual and everything, and it's great. Like, that's fantastic. It's just, I don't... So, it's not great, though. Like, if I have to have someone explain to me how this completely normal thing is a trans thing, and, like, I'm also trans. I'm not this cis person being like, well, I didn't get it. Like, I'm also trans, and some of my other trans friends didn't get it at all either. So it's kind of frustrating if this is the rep, and, like, no one on What Pumpkin has even said, it's like, yes, that was supposed to be trans coding. Like, with Vriska, I think I mentioned in her route that if I had not known about the Twitter environment and the person writing her, I probably wouldn't have picked up on the trans coding there. Like, maybe I'm just stupid. Like, maybe I'm just sick in the head. That's entirely possible. But, like, because people said that it was blatant in there, and I'm like, it was blatant because I knew to look for it, and it was obvious then, and maybe I would have kind of picked up on it, especially the underlining the F. But, like, if I was just, like, a dumbass who never got on to Homestuck Twitter and just, like, stayed at my level of involvement in the community that I was, like, back in 2018, then I might not have picked up on it. And, like, I definitely didn't pick up on this. And, yeah, with no talk from the writer who was anonymous or from What Pumpkin about it, because, like, with Trans Vriska, like, there was talk right after it from the author about Vriska being trans. And with this, there's nothing. There's no confirmation, and it's even more subtle to the point of I'm still not convinced it's real and not just people seeing trans coding where it wasn't supposed to be, you know? So that's kind of my frustration with this. I think that if we're going to have trans characters in Homestuck, and we absolutely should, it needs to be said, you know? I mean, not like Sollux is gonna come out like, hi, hey reader, I'm a trans guy, you know? But, like, just something, some confirmation of it, even if it's outside of canon, even if it's word of God, just, like, that would be better than just, like, this scene that a lot of people don't pick up on as being trans coding, and then no confirmation or denial or anything from What Pumpkin. It's not, I don't know, some people are calling it, it's like, oh, we're getting more trans rep. I'm like, it's not trans rep if it could be easily ignored, you know? And I don't feel like I'm holding What Pumpkin to any higher of a standard than I would anything else. I don't know. Let me know what you think. If you think I'm totally off base here, let me know. These are just my opinions about it. It's not to say that no one can find like them. No one can see themselves in Sollux or like that Sollux is trans in this or anything like that. Like, I'm not trying to, like, if you definitely see the trans coding in this, good, that's great. I'm just saying there needs to be, I would like if there were more information for dumbasses like myself. So that's my whole thing with that, which I think I took longer to explain than I entirely meant to. But anyway, overall, I really liked Sollux and Kanaya hanging out and talking and you being chill, and I like the reminder that they are 13 years old because they were gonna have a sleepover, and then Sollux was like, no, we're leaving now, and Kanaya's like, oh, you're leaving? And Sollux is like, yeah, and then takes you aside and is like, we're leaving because you're clearly not 13 and we are, and that's fucking weird. So just a reminder to all you out there, I'm looking at you. They're still 13 in this. Anyway, still liked it. It was great. I like Nepeta. I like Sollux. There's not really a character I would dislike, so I don't know why I keep ending with this. But they were really great routes, and I am looking forward to our Sea Dwellers, which are coming out on the 15th. So the announcement should be this week, this Wednesday, which is the 8th, I think. And then the routes will be coming out on the 15th, if I am remembering the What Pumpkin tweets correctly. Though, so whenever any doubt is removed as to what route will be next, I always get nervous that those routes will not be next, you know? So I'm hoping that we get the Sea Dwellers routes next. We should be getting the Sea Dwellers routes next, but it's also Homestuck. And if they do something different, I will not be terribly surprised. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. I hope that you had great holidays, whether that was just New Year's or whatever. Like, I hope the past couple of weeks have been good to you, whether you celebrate the holidays or not. Also, quick stuff at the end here. My Discord is now more generalized. It's not just strictly for the podcast. I have other projects coming up that I'm not going to take too much time talking about it because it's not Homestuck related, but you go there, you can learn more about it. So I'm still in the process of changing all my links around because that's a lot of stuff to do and I don't do it a lot, but all the relevant links are always on my Twitter, which is LiveLaughStuck. Or you can follow my personal Twitter, which has a thread with those links and other links if you want to know more stuff I'm doing. My personal is Dirkification, like bimboification, but with Dirk, because that's what's happened. Because I started out 2019 loving Tizius and being all up in Tizius, and then suddenly it turned to Dirk. And so we'll see what this year brings. Maybe I'll be Teresification at the end of the year. Who knows? Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you next time I post an episode, because I don't know when I'm going to post this one. This podcast's theme is Dirty Dirt Kitty and was created by Domi, who can be found on SoundCloud as Domino Thief. Shout out to my regulars and up on Patreon, Space Arby's. To become a patron and get episodes up to 5 days early, along with many other benefits, including but not limited to access to bloopers and original writing, physical merch, and the opportunity to get your questions and comments on the show, go to patreon.com/sociallyanxiousdragon and sign up for as little as $1 a month. You can find links to that and more in the episode's description, on the podcast's Twitter, LiveLaughStuck, or on livelaughstuck.com. Please remember to rate this podcast on your app of choice and share with your friends. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to be a little selfish.